Welcome back to episode 3 of Coffee Chats with Mo and Bro. Cheers, bro.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Saturday.
Yeah, no, it's a good day here today, so hopefully crank out all this work we've got ahead and then enjoy the afternoon.
Yeah. So as usual, guys, feel free to grab a coffee with us. We'll chat for about 15 minutes or so, cover our 4 usual topics, covering something to do with nutrition, training, lifestyle habits, and then something business, which is going on behind the scenes at the moment. So as usual, drinking my iced Americano.
I went with the flatty today.
Ooh, what did you have last week?
Go with the iced lattes, so it's either one of the two usually, but today's the flatty.
Yeah, feeling a bit spicy.
Mm-hmm.
How's the week been? Anything new happening with clients?
Yeah, it's been a real good week. We had a few new clients jump on board. I had the end of the Transformation Challenge just over a week ago, so the winner of that lost 16 kilos.
Amazing.
A few of the other guys lost 10 kilos. Then we've got a few more boys slowly putting on muscle, which is good, but as we both know, muscle takes a little bit longer to achieve than weight loss, but that's all happening in the work, so those transformations will be coming out soon. But yeah, no, it's been a good week. How about you?
Yeah, it's been a busy week. It always is here at Motion Fitness, it feels, but there's always stuff to do, which is super exciting as well because there's never a boring week here. But I've had some client wins. I had one of my girls reach her goal weight, so that was awesome for her. And now we're starting her muscle building journey as well. But like you say, it's going to take a little bit more time than losing the weight, but she's in for the ride, so it's going to be exciting.
Cool.
That's awesome. So topic number 1, which we usually like to focus on, is nutrition because it's a main focus when it comes to weight loss. And something I wanted to touch on today was intermittent fasting. So a lot of people do intermittent fasting and they say that they're losing weight. Can you give us a bit of background of why that may be?
So with intermittent fasting, we both know it comes down to calories. So at the end of the day, you're not going to be losing weight if you're not in a calorie deficit. And with intermittent fasting, it makes it easier to stay within your calorie range, which makes it easier to be in a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
The reason being is you've just now eliminated your window of eating. So a lot of people seem to have a 4 to 6 hour eating window, and that means they're not going to be snacking as much outside. So generally, if you aren't intermittent fasting, you're going to be, even just having more drinks, more juices, more coffees, more things like that, which have hidden calories in them. You're also mindlessly snacking at work, grabbing that plate of chips or a few biscuits or treats here and there. And with intermittent fasting, it normally makes people lock in and they realize that they can't eat outside of that window. So it's just a very basic way of staying within your calorie deficit. But it needs to be noted that it's not the intermittent fasting that's causing the weight loss, it's the restriction in calories, which is the main focus. So that's why we try create more of a lifestyle focus where you understand more about calories so you can eat at times that might be outside your window to repair your relationship with food.
Yes.
So that's something that we work on. But what are your thoughts on the downsides of intermittent fasting?
Intermittent fasting can be risky. There's so many factors that come into it with the downsides of it, and there's so many more that we could probably talk about, but massive one is nutrient deficiency. So we as humans have targets that we should be focusing on when it comes to our macronutrients as well as our micronutrients, and with those, if you're doing intermittent fasting, then it's going to be very hard for you to reach those targets. So your carbs, your healthy fats are super important for our energy, and then our protein is going to rebuild our muscles as well as build them in size as well. So with intermittent fasting, it's very hard to be able to reach those targets, and your macronutrients are something that's massive for us to be able to actually sustain our fat loss journey as well as rebuilding and recovering our muscles and everything like that. So that's a massive one. For females in particular, it can play a role in our hormones as well. So with intermittent fasting, you put yourself in more of a stress state, which means that periods, sorry Brandon, periods are going to be, they can be irregular. And as us females know, it is super important to have regular periods and our hormones and everything like that. So that's super important, and it's something that can be effective when it comes to intermittent fasting. So sorry to touch on that one, Brandon, and the boys listening.
Now, I've actually also known people that are on intermittent fasting, they're swearing by it. They've told me it's the only way to lose weight.
Yeah.
And I've literally been with them when they've smashed back like mince and cheese pies and ice creams and potato chips, all because it's within their window.
Yeah.
And that just proves to me the lack of knowledge, which unfortunately people don't realise.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't give you free will to eat whatever you want within that window, because if you eat like that all the time and you have 6,000 calories, you're not going to be losing weight.
Yeah.
Whether it's a 4-hour window, 2-hour window, 10-hour window, it all comes down to calories at the end of the day.
Yeah, and the thing is, even if you are doing it correctly and you're eating less than what you're expending, so you're in a calorie deficit technically, if you're still eating just highly fat processed foods, then your body will look different in comparison to if you're eating nutritional foods, right? You could go for more of that skinny look rather than more of that tone defined look. So it's what you're putting in your mouth. It's not just to do with the calories, which is where it's real beneficial when when new people coming to talk to us, because we're planning it to what their body needs. But a lot of people miss that with the fasting side of things. So yeah, it's an interesting one. But also social challenges, like social events, how are you meant to cater around that if you've got this block where you can't eat? What if your family's going for breakfast or
well, and that is probably the next thing. A lot of people I know who do intermittent fasting is that they just do it like Monday to Friday, or they say they do it, and I know when they talk to me that they don't do it on the weekends. And it's like, we're big on sustainable change, like creating eating habits that you can stick to, and no one can eat within a 4-hour window, it just can't be done forever, and because it can't be done forever, there's no point doing it all the time.
Exactly, if you're just going to stick to it for a short period of time. A very interesting topic though, very interesting. Jumping into a little bit about training, people I know struggle when it comes to time because we are all really busy within our lives and everything like that. So what's the best and most effective way for people to train?
I think you definitely be wanting to hit the gym at least twice a week. Home workouts are good. A lot of people like home workouts. I do think that they are a stepping stone to the gym. I think if you really want to take your training to the next level, you have to be going to a gym. Or at worst, if you've got a home setup, it needs to be a good setup, and it can't just be a few dumbbells and kettlebells. It needs to be a proper setup where you can log your progression, which just means you can see that you're adding weight every couple of weeks or so. And if you've just got little 2 or 4 kilo dumbbells, you're not going to be able to do that. And you can only do so many push-ups before they just get a pain in the ass and they're boring. So that would be the first step. Gradually build up to the gym. I think we've got other videos on kind of dealing with getting into the gym and confidence around that. But once you're in the gym, you want to be aiming for a minimum of twice a week. I know time is a factor for some people, but I'm big on, we can all make it 45 minutes to an hour, just 2 times a week. You gotta make it a priority. If you are going to the gym 2 times a week, I would be big on full body workouts. So without getting too boring with the scientific stuff, protein synthesis is what's needed to build muscle, which means you need to hit your muscle groups twice a week. And so you want to normally give 24 to 48 hours rest period so the muscles can recover. But you want to hit each muscle group twice a week. So full body movements, if you're going twice. If you're going 3 times a week, you could probably pretty much still do 3 full bodies, but it'd be a bit more of a focus on like a push day, a pull day, and a lower body day, but still with parts of a full body workout in each of those. If I was going to the gym 4 times a week, I would then focus more on like a push, pull, lower than a full body. So that way you can really push yourself on specific muscle groups, but then still have that full body day, which means you're going to hit each muscle group twice. And then now if you're heading into the 5+ a week, that's the kind of like top 1%. Very hard to do for most people, but that's when you can really start targeting a day on like shoulders or chest or your weak areas. Still with a focus on hitting each muscle group twice a week minimum. And then if you are hitting probably 4 or 5 workouts a week, can maybe even hit your weaker areas.
Yeah.
So smaller muscle groups, maybe 3 times a week. So a lot of dudes is either your calves, hit it 3 times a week, or your shoulders, they can respond well to high volume. So that's kind of how I would structure a workout plan for most people.
Yeah, I think for us females, it's probably just killing those glutes.
Yeah. So like in terms of like a workout week, how would you structure it and how would you apply it to your clients or yourself?
So it obviously depends a lot on each individual, but like you say, if someone's coming to me first off and they're saying they don't have many hours in the day, or they have commitments that they need to work around, then I would focus programming their workouts in with their lifestyle. So it's not going to be like, hey, this is what I expect of you. It's what can we do to make sure that it fits in with your life. But like you said, people can train from home and still get great results. Ideally, we want to be going to the gym so that we can apply progressive overload and have more access to equipment and everything like that. But a lot of my girls, they do work out from home because they do have children. So they're getting great results as well. So it all kind of depends. But yeah, that's, I guess, when we come in and we help out with that kind of thing. Yeah. With like a lifestyle tip, because this is something that's super massive when it comes to, obviously there's nutrition and there's training, but what can we be doing when we're outside of those blocks where we're not going to the gym or we're not working out at home to just make sure that we're staying active, and particularly probably to do with the weekends as well?
Yeah, so like first off, I feel you should always prioritize your workout. So have them in your calendar, whether that's 2 times a week, 3 times, 4 times. It's got to be something you can maintain and stick to. But that doesn't mean on days that you're not working out, you just don't do anything. And so what we mean by that, it might be taking your kids for a walk, taking the dog for a walk, taking them both for a walk.
Take them separately to get more in.
Take them separately. Doing things that you like. Some people might like to go for a bike ride, a run, a swim.
Even just stretching, mobility based stuff.
You just do something that's going to keep you in the mindset of being active. So it doesn't have to be a tough workout that you've planned, but you want to always be moving the body. And then that kind of brings into the ideal goal, which would be 10,000 steps a day. Because I notice a lot of people I work with, it's so easy to stay under that, and well and truly under that. If you wake up, you go to work, then come home, get dinner ready, sit on the couch. Some people, you might struggle to hit 3,000 steps in a day.
Definitely.
And not even looking at it from a weight loss perspective, just for your heart. You want to be able to walk up a flight of stairs or a slight hill and not feel out of breath. And you're going to get that by aiming for a minimum of probably 8,000 steps, 10,000 ideally. But I think if you can hit 8,000, that's awesome. And then you just get that by, incorporating it into your life and thinking about it a bit more. Is there any tips that you would suggest to incorporate it into your life?
Well, I think a lot of our clients, they have desk jobs, so something that I would kind of recommend to them and to anyone that's working with us or even just listening is just if you do phone calls, just get up and walk around while you're on the phone. There's absolutely no point in just sitting down just taking the phone call. You may as well just get some steps in, even if you're sitting at the desk for a majority of your day, just getting up and maybe going into a corner and just doing 10 body weight squats. It's better than doing nothing. And I know it may feel or look a little bit stupid if you're in the office environment, but it's not going to be stupid when you're looking after your body and you're feeling a lot more better for it. But my main tip I know a lot of people do phone calls, so getting up and doing the phone calls with getting steps in, parking further away from the office or from the grocery store so that you can get those steps in as well. It's just implementing it in little ways like that, not taking the elevator, climbing the stairs,
or just not having a trolley at the grocery store. Just carry everything.
As I said, park far away from the grocery store. I'm thinking everyone with their bags after, and then you're doing a farmer's carry. So there you go, you've got 2 in 1. Working on the grip strength and getting some training in at the same time as your steps. It's a 2 in 1. No, those are awesome tips. What's been kind of going on behind the scenes for us at the moment? I know that we've had a super busy week, and I feel like this is going to be really great for you to dive in on, because give everyone a bit of behind the scenes of what's been going on.
So Monica and I, we created this business 8 months ago, and at the time we were new to like business and how it all works. And I've been big on Excel spreadsheets. Monica will say like I had too many, and that's because I just kind of don't know what I'm doing, so just tracking things. But then I realized over time that it's all made sense, and everything, even though we didn't know what we were doing, was all for a reason, because we can now see it's all kind of coming together. And I had these 5 like boxes that were all red, and the goal each week was to tick each box off and make them green. And we would do that by achieving the goal. And the reason we had those boxes were just to make sure we were on track and like doing what we needed to grow our business and to help people. And at the time I didn't know what they were, but now looking into business a bit more, KPIs, which probably most people are familiar with, but since I've been a PT and just walking around the gym, just counting to 10, helping people with reps, this was all a new side to business for me. So that was kind of what we started with 8 months ago. And we kept these 5 boxes in there, and weeks went by and we didn't even tick off a single box. We were struggling and demotivated, and we had chats about, should we make it easier or change it up?
Scrap it.
And I was like, we were both like, no, we've set this goal for ourselves. We will stick at it. If it's the last thing we ever do, we will smash these 5 boxes. And this week we managed to achieve all 5 and even go beyond what we thought was possible. And even though it's kind of business related, it's our journey in business, and that's what we like to share with our clients who are on their journey in their lifestyle. Because, you know, we know it can be demotivating, we know it can be challenging, we know it can be hard, and there's days that go by that you just want to throw it all in and cannot be bothered. But it was nice to finally get a win and to celebrate that win, because it's so easy to get caught up in what's not going right and forget about what is going right.
Did you get it? You were too slow.
No, I got it, of course.
I think I saw it fly away, guys.
So that was the cool thing. We were able to kind of hit a win. And something that's taken us 8 months. And that's the importance of just not giving up on something just because it's hard, because it makes it so much more worth it when you achieve it.
No, it's awesome to even like, obviously we do weekly check-ins and we go over these KPIs together, so I know all of this, but to just even hear you say it, it's like, you know, a bit of that boost. You know, if we can do it, we're just humans at the end of the day, which means that we're just trying our best as well as everyone else out there. So if you stick to something, then you're going to get the results that you want. It's been awesome. It is, and it's cool. It's been cool because I posted a bit about this yesterday, and a few of my clients reached out and said the same thing, like, it was cool to hear us having our struggles, because even though we like, our job is to kind of tell people what to do and coach them and help them on their way, there is that vulnerable side where we are still figuring things out ourselves, mainly with the business side of things. And it's cool when it's all starting to come together. And then what happens next is we just set the bar a bit higher. We change our KPIs. We make it more challenging, because what we've been able to achieve now, we can do. And it's about, cool, let's celebrate this little win. But we're still miles off from where we want to get to. So let's up the bar a bit and let's carry on. But it's cool to see as well, like the visual side of things, because I say this with my girls a lot, is, you know, actually being able to visually tick something off is actually quite a high motivational strategy to be using to be able to accomplish your goals. And to be able to tick those boxes green and actually be able to see that visually is just so cool. So
because there were weeks, like even months where the whole like month was red, like not even a single. There was the odd week which we didn't want this to happen, but we didn't even bother opening up the Excel spreadsheet, because we were just like, this has been a bad week.
Or we'd look at each other and we'd be like, we got like half of that, should we do it green? And like we'd think about it, and then we'd both be like, no, we can't do that, like it says minimum. And like orange, like some progress.
But it's been cool. And like, you know, even like doing this podcast, this was one of our goals 8 months ago. So it took us just over 7 months to get started. And like, it's not like we haven't tried to get started. It just, we've had other things in the works, other things we've been sorting out. And now that this is up and running and it's consistent, it's just another sign that things are coming together. So we're on the right path. But yeah, we'll keep going on.
Yeah, I think it's just settling back sometimes and actually acknowledging the small things that are coming into light, because we're both quite busy and it's really hard to kind of just sit back and be like, oh shit, we actually accomplished that and we didn't even take a moment to just actually, congratulate ourselves. So cheers, bro. Congratulations to us. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It was a really chill and nice chat today. So hopefully you got some knowledge out of that one. As always, we really appreciate you coming along. If you could give us a like, a follow, a share, a subscribe, all of that good stuff, and make sure you drop any comments or questions that you have in the comment section so that we can make sure to answer them next time. But cheers, here's to episode 3.